Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a great day. And above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into the topic of what we hope to be another entertaining, informative, exciting episode, I want to welcome back to the channel Mr. Jim Bricker. How's it going, Jim?
I am doing all right, Armando. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to be seen by you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Now Hear This Volume 3. Jim has graciously given me another list of new songs to listen to, and he's going to give you his take on these new artists with these new releases. Uh, Quite an interesting mix of songs on this list and genres.
Yeah,
Uh, Very interesting indeed. So I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to Jim, and he's going to take over and tell us what's new on Now Hear This Volume 3.
all
Jim.
right. Let's do that. Thanks, Armando. And I appreciate your willingness to kind of dive into untested waters and to see what kind of fun things we come up with.
I threw my bathing suit on and I dove right in. Let's go for it. All right.
There we go. All right. Let's kind of start off with a category of modern pop, folk, rock, and we've got three albums to talk about in here today. The first one is by a band called Guv, and their album from 2026 called Warmer Than Gold. This is, to me, it's got definitely one foot in, this decade, but I think its heart and soul are kind of firmly planted in the 70s. And what I mean by that is that there's some really rich melodic pop songwriting going on, but there's a lot of sort of modern techno production that kind of goes along with it. Um, Really nice variety of stuff here. The song that I picked for the playlist is a track called "Let Your Hands Go," which is to me just this really energetic, joyous, makes me want to get up and dance type of tune. Maybe it does for you, albeit it would be a little bit difficult, but maybe it makes you want to get up and dance. I don't know. Um,
You want me to
Care to
answer that?
comment, or shall I keep going? What do you got?
Uh, Nothing. Things I'd never expected that comment, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I'll come back soon. Don't you
All
fucking
right,
worry.
fair enough.
Don't you fucking worry about that. Go on.
Okay. Yep. What goes around comes around.
Oh,
Um,
bloody well, right. Go on.
yep. So if you were, in your imaginary record store looking at the different sections of where this album might be slotted in, you would probably find it in rock, indie rock, power pop, um, rock and roll. There is this is a guy. It's fronted by one guy, and so I don't know if it's a one man band or a vanity project or he has other things going on. I'm sorry I didn't grab the name of the actual guy who heads Gov, but I just am really taken with this. Let Your Hands Go is not indicative of every tune on the album, but if you
Mm,
like what you hear, um, here. It's definitely worth a listen because, like I said, it's got that great aesthetic of the 70s and the 2020s just wonderfully enmeshed with one another. And it seemed like a good one to kind of start off the playlist with. Start it off with a bang, as they say. Grab
mm,
the attention. Um,
mhm.
what do you think there, Armando?
Well, for this track, alternative pop is a good way, and indie pop is a good way to describe this band. I noticed a lot of well, not a lot of, but a good amount of good of guitar texture like treatments on this piece.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's really all that's the one thing that I noticed about this track is the guitar treatments on this.
Hmm.
A lot of what I would say rhythm guitar textures on this.
Hmm.
And the vocals sort of to me the vocals just sort of seem to like sort of how can I put this? It's almost like when you saunter into a room very casually kind of thing. It's like the very sort of they don't overtake what's going on musically. I don't think. They sort of
Okay.
mesh into the
So
mix kind of
so
thing.
it complements it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's my, you know, um, that's my take on it. I mean, these songs I listened to I finished off the list today, this
Hmm.
afternoon, this morning before the hockey game, ladies and gentlemen. Canada won. Anyway, and
Priorities.
yes, um, yeah. So a lot of these reactions for me are like first listening reactions to these songs.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I get from the first one from Let Your Hands Go.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next artist within this category, which happens to be highlighted by the next tune on the playlist. This is a band called
Man.
Sea Rose, and the album here is entitled "Death in the Business of Whaling." As you know, you would go out on the ocean and stab yourself a whale. That is the whaling here, not crying whaling.
Hmm.
Um, Sea Rose is a project by a dude named Alec Duckart. Now, I kind of was taken aback when I listened to this. I'm like, that's a dude? Okay.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and the kind of thing that comes to mind there was, when Tracy Chapman first came out in the, late 80s, people were like, is this a guy or is this a gal? Because, Tracy could go both ways. Um, and yeah, there's this,
Singing wise, go on.
yeah, singing wise, yes, there's this kind of, I don't know if it's a vocal androgyny or what's going on, but I
Yeah.
first heard this and I thought this gal has a nice voice.
Hmm.
Turns out it's not a gal. Okay, we'll go with that.
See, I thought it
So
was a
see,
woman too. I thought it was
yeah,
a
okay,
woman
well,
too.
I'm glad I'm not alone. So I put two songs on this playlist from this album, "Death in the Business of Whaling," and the two tracks here are "In Violet" and "Kill What You Eat." Um, it's and I think they're pretty indicative to kind of what the whole tone of this record is. It's very down tempo, kind of haunted, a little bit beguiling here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm really, really drawn to it. It's a very magnetic record. I don't know if it's the arrangements or the performance, the songwriting or what it is, but I am continually pulled in. Even though on the face of it, a lot of this type of music leaves me a little cold and not wanting to just sort of dive in. But with this one, wow. I would even venture that if people dig their rock in the proggy side of things, that this might sort of scratch that itch a little bit, just in terms of, the
Hmm.
the 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 textures and the soundscapes of it. I wouldn't say it's progressive in terms of, you're moving from a section of 11 into 13 and then, you know.
Well, seeing as how you use the term progressive for progressive rock, obviously,
Hmm.
I would take it one step further and call it alternative progressive because
Okay.
it's not full out progressive rock, but there is this, and I don't mean to step on your toes,
No, no,
uh,
no. Go
but
for it.
I'm about to. Um, there is this sense of melancholy with these two tracks. And I noticed, okay, like in my notes for In Violet, I put nice use of banjo on the track. What I'm hearing is banjo for
Hmm.
stringed instrumentation, and for Kill What You Eat. Sorry, and it's just like a weird title for a song. Um,
Yes.
I'm hearing what I put in is unique acoustic guitar tone.
Hmm.
Because when I hear that track, you can almost literally feel their fingers running up against rubbing up against the strings on the fretboard.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, uh-huh.
that
Very
sort of
close mic'd.
that's sort of yeah, really close mic'd and yeah, thank you for that. But the tone of the guitar is really unique.
Hmm.
Um, a really unique pitch and just tone for the acoustic guitar on this track. I do like it. I do like
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
I gotta say, but
The rest of the album kind of follows in the same pattern. So again, the idea here was to try to put representative tunes of what you might find in the whole record, and where I've got a couple of tunes from something to me that represents kind of the strongest of the batch. And to me, um, Sea Rose was just such a great find, and like I said, I'm really drawn to it. In your imaginary record store categories, you'd find this under folk, indie folk, singer-songwriter, Portland, because apparently Portland has its own genre now, or at least subgenre.
oh bloody
Um,
hell. Okay.
yeah, so that should give you a pretty good description of what the songs are all about. Um,
I would also say adult contemporary.
okay, do you have like another sounds like in mind, or
I would almost compare this to early Sarah McLachlan and not In the Arms of the Angels. I'm talking about her first release for Network Records in 1988 with the track Vox on it.
yep. Hmm.
Um, that's the only in terms of comparison. That's the only comparison I can come up with right now.
All right. No, that's a good one. I'll
I
I'll
have
go
my
with that.
moments. I have my moments.
I I like my early Sarah McLachlan. That's totally fine.
Hmm.
Pre Lilith Fair and all that.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Moving on then. Last of this category I'll put it in the country shoegaze question mark, or the post folk question mark category. This is an album by Tessa Rose Jackson called The
Hmm.
Lighthouse. Um,
Uh-huh.
this is, um, again, just all of these albums have been found because I've been trolling the interwebs trying to find new artists and new music to listen to. I find, if I don't purposely seek stuff out that's a little out of my comfort zone and a little modern, I'm just gonna, all I'm gonna do is listen to Steely Dan all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just
Yeah, we
saying.
we must
I
yeah
got I got the t-shirt to prove it.
we must
Um,
put that out there. Yes, yes.
yes. But yeah, what a great find this album is. Um, uh, from a category standpoint, uh, acoustic folk, alt folk, cinematic, dreamy, London, as in London, England. Um, the couple of tunes that I put on here, they're really different, but again, kind of speaks to the variety that you can find on this record. The first one, Grace Notes, is very quiet and subdued, but very rich and textured, deep and
Mm.
emotional. Kind of, but yet, even in that, I called it like a more sprightly version of early Suzanne Vega. So if you were if you wanted to take kind of the somberness and seriousness of what Suzanne was doing, especially on her first solo album, but gave it a little bit more of a either major key or just a little brighter instrumentation. To me, that's what Grace Notes sounds like.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Now, however, dialing things 180 degrees, you've got Fear Bangs the Drum,
Yeah.
which again is very driven by acoustic guitars and has a folk influence, but it's got a backbeat like straight out of Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. And it's really, really cool. It's just got this kind of funky backbeat to the whole thing, and it really draws you in, keeps the interest. It's enough of a piece of variety. It's just like, okay, Miss Jackson here is not a one-trick pony. She's definitely got a variety of musical influences under her sleeve, or at least has the confidence to express herself in a variety of different ways. And I'll just throw a comment out for the title cut as well. It's a really great intro to the record. It's not on the playlist, but if folks wanted to take these two songs as a stepping stone towards listening to the whole record, and it's on all the streaming platforms and whatnot, you'll be richly rewarded just with that title cut as well. Again, much like Sea Rose, a very magnetic record, really draws you in. Very coffee house comfort, but with, um, a lot more variety in the orchestrations and whatnot. I really these last two records, the Tessa Rose Jackson and Sea Rose, to me are the standouts here for this
Yeah.
playlist.
Yeah.
What'd you think of these two tracks, Armando?
Well, for Grace Notes, well, overall for Tessa Rose Jackson, what I noticed is she has a really good singing voice, a really strong, prominent, good, what's the term? Good, I guess, timbre in her voice, just a good, strong vocal tone altogether. Um, what I noticed is when she does her harmonies, for the choruses, I don't know, I think they either double or triple track her vocal
Hmm.
to give it more of of a more full and richer quality to her vocal delivery.
Yeah.
Which I noticed that they did on both on Grace Notes and um, Fear Bangs the Drum. More on Grace Notes though. Grace Notes for me, I have here great vocals and guitar. What I like about that song is, for a big mouth like me, I'm pretty speechless right now. Um,
Hey.
what I noticed on with Grace Notes is the subject matter, the thematic premise of the song is about themes of resignation and just coming to terms with you can't fix everything in life, and you're sort of resigning yourself to that understanding and closing the book on the situation, um or yeah, either with a friend or a personal relationship, etc., and just moving on from there.
Hmm.
Not everything can
Yeah.
be fixed, you know,
Right.
uh which is sad, but also it's realistic, you
Hmm.
know.
Sure.
um so, but out of the two, between Grace Notes and Fear Bangs the Drum, I prefer Grace Notes in terms of a song.
Hmm.
Of a song I go back to, I would pick Grace Notes. I saw, but
Okay.
that's
Um,
just moi, in terms of my
there you
opinion.
go.
So,
So yeah, I've a lot of the album feels in that vein of Grace Notes. So if you were to kind of, you know, go off the beaten path and listen to it, I think you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm really digging on this.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Well, I
cool.
just might do that. I just might do that. You never know.
In your
Okay.
copious free time, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? And you may even do you might even do a new artist or new album spotlight as we've done a couple of times here.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. No,
so who knows?
you never know. I just might. I just might.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next category, which
Yes.
has one, two, three, four albums in it. This is the electronic grouping. And the first album that we're going to talk about, and the first song that's represented in the playlist, is kind of near the bottom. It's by a band called Craven Faults. It's their album Sidings, and this is a song called Yard Loop. And this album is I'll call it an ambient geared instrumental.
Yeah.
Um, it's very composed, but very ambient electronic, much like in the way, say, a Tangerine Dream is. Or yeah, we'll just leave it as Tangerine Dream. That's probably the best connection
Yeah.
I can make to it.
I would agree. I would agree. I would say, just I'm gonna put this out there. I would say this is slightly more accessible than Tangerine Dream. As much as I like
Uh-huh.
Tangerine Dream, this is
Hmm.
slightly more accessible than that. But
Yeah,
Just
yeah. I
continue, my dear
was
boy.
I was kind of I was surprised by this. I wasn't expecting much. I just thought I would be bored, but I was really engaged. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that they are composed tunes. It is very atmospheric. It's not like, a Brian Eno ambient album where most things are kind of left to chance, it seems. These are through composed tunes.
Yeah.
And some of them are quite long. The album that this comes from, Sightings, has 8 tracks, but 3 of them take up 45 minutes. Um, so that kind of tells you that this guide is not shying away
Well,
from, longer form compositions and what he has to say.
well, that put it on
But
my
yet,
radar.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Yard Loop is a nice tight 3.5 minutes, but yeah, like I'm saying, on an average of 15 minutes a clip for 3 of the tunes.
Okay.
Um it's 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 some expansive stuff, and if you like what you hear in Sightings, um the rest of the album follows suit. It's a very train inspired um suite of tunes, and it's again, like a lot of ambient music, the most successful ones, you get kind of lost in it,
Yeah.
and this is very much in that vein, and it makes me not only want to spend some more time with this record, but also try to find some of the earlier ones and see
Yeah.
what this dude has been up to, assuming
Yeah.
it's a dude.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
You never assume. If I can just add
Yeah,
something in, ladies and gentlemen,
heck yeah.
with regards to Yard Loop and Craven Falls. Um, if you ever wanted an album to, put on and have a nice massage to, like a
Oh.
full body massage on the table for a full, say, put this album on repeat and just go for a good, say, 90 minutes to 2 hours. This album is for you. That's all I'm going to say. Um, and that's just listening from the one track. I'm telling you that this is good.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the only way I can describe it. Is like this album is a good album to have a massage to.
Well, there you go. So maybe if Canada has another hockey victory and you need to like calm down a little bit, maybe some Craven Falls is where you might go to sort of
There,
bring in the chill.
there you go.
Um,
There you go.
okay.
There you go.
Great. So yeah, check out the other 7 tracks. I think you'll like it. Tracks was not intended as a pun, but given the train
No,
metaphor,
I
it
get you.
works.
I get you.
The next in our ambient subgroup is by a woman named Kayla Painter, and this album is called Tectonic Particles. And wow, this is unlike the Craven Falls record. This one is
No,
not, if it's composed, it's not as obviously composed. I think
yeah, it
there's a
is.
lot more experimentation and chance kind of in this one, but yet the palette, the electronic palette that she uses is broader.
She's
It's kind of
using,
broader and brighter.
if we're going to go colors, I would say she's using a lot more pastel colors
Hmm.
in terms of the musical spectrum. And and then I'll shut up. But the only other thing I can say is this the track Le Sous May from Michaela Painter leans more towards the Brian Eno spectrum.
That's the note that I have here. Brian Eno in 2025 put out 3 albums with a woman named BT Wolf, and the trilogy of them, runs everything from purely like your classic Eno ambient albums to uh, pop albums with, but yet have sort of that ambient Eno kind of touch to it,
Yeah,
to the third album, which is more of a natural amalgam of the two.
yeah.
Um, and to me, the Kayla Painter record really falls in that category. So again, not to unfairly compare things, but just to try to give the listeners a touchstone. It's like, okay, if you like this, then this might be something that trips your trigger as well.
Yeah.
And similarly, if you like what you hear with the Kayla tune, that's the seventh album, sorry, the seventh track in the playlist. Um, the rest of the album follows suit very, very closely.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree 100%. But
All right.
again, with the Brian Eno comparison is much more apt to Kayla Painter than than um, Craven Falls. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm Okay. Cool. And to the point that you raised about Craven Falls, about having that be great massage music, frankly, I think the Kayla Painter would fall into that as well.
yeah, it's the same. I mean, yeah, they're interchangeable. You can even keep them going. You can even alternate between tracks between CDs. So
Sure.
keep the mystery going, kind of a thing. But
There you go.
yeah, no,
Playlist that sucker.
I would agree. I would agree.
Okay. All right. So that takes care of the ambient subgroup within the electronic category. Um, Now we're going to get into the subgroup that I just called dance. And again, I was really kind of struck with these two records because again, this is usually not my wheelhouse
No, it's not
at
your
all.
forte. No.
No, and it's not my wheelhouse, my forte, my wheel bag, my the stuff that trips my trigger. But yet
His
I really
hemisphere. His hemisphere, basically. I
there we
mean,
are.
okay.
Um,
So,
I'll take any good Rush reference you want to throw in there related to hemispheres, so that's
there you
totally
go.
fine.
There you go.
The first track in the list here is from Neon Ion, which is basically a the project name fronted by Natalie Sandtorf. She's from Oslo, and this has got and the tune and the album is called Laugh Now, Cry Later. It's techno, and again, usually techno just kind of makes me break out in hives.
Yeah, I get
Um,
you.
you know,
Yeah.
Depeche Mode and Pet Shop Boys had quite enough of that. Thank you very much. But yet, there's
Hey, hey,
something
hey,
about
hey.
I know, touchy subject. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but yet there's something that's really, really catchy about this, and the in trying to pinpoint why, the closest analogy I could put on it is like the tracks from Everything But the Girl, their latter albums, which were definitely more techno forward, but yet still deeply melodic in what they were doing. And
In song structure,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, Amplified Heart, I think, is the Mount Rushmore of that sort of, you know, subgenre. I think the albums that came after that maybe are a little bit too techno for me, but there's a lot about Neon Ion, this particular album, that sort of reminds me of that. Um, it's melodic, but it's not annoying. There's some sax washes that sort of happen in here, and some
Yeah.
great electric keyboard. Maybe it's Rhodes, I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed it. And again, the notes, the genre notes I have in here are jazz, crossover, pop, vocal, and Oslo. So I don't know. I mean, but yet it's very much got this sort of modern dance floor vibe to the whole thing.
I would also throw in elements of trip hop.
Yes, sure. Now it's funny that you bring up trip hop because
It is.
that dovetails right into the next record to talk about, and let's kind of maybe we could talk about both of them at the same time.
Go on.
This is an album by a band called a PVA called No More Like This. And again, it's techno, but yet it's not quite like dance club ish to me.
No,
Um,
it's not.
the categories that I have down here are alternative, electronica, trip hop, electro, London. There's London again as a category. Um, Indie. So there's so it's got that vibe to it, but again, it's not like so enamored with it that it's just kind of, I don't know, annoying and overbearing.
Like the Pet Shop Boys or Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Talk to me, Armando. Help me out because I have a feeling that
I
these
think you're
two,
doing fine.
well, okay. I mean, you've got more uh oh, what's the right phrase? You've got more to say and more invested in this particular subgenre than I do. So
Well,
speak from your own authority, please. Help a brother out.
help a brother out. Can you
Yeah.
spare a dime?
Yeah.
In terms of PVA, I use this term when I was doing another episode on album anniversaries for Prince's album Parade. I kind of feel this song from PVA, Anger Song, that we're talking about, track five on our list. It's a little bit musically schizophrenic
Hmm.
because it's got elements of you know trip hop, um, I, I guess alternative pop. It just really doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not. It doesn't want to be categorized musically,
Hmm.
which gotta be honest with you, out of the 12 tracks on this list, this song really didn't do much for me. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I do hear what I do understand where you're coming from, but
Hmm.
there's almost too much of a mashup here in order to make a for me in order to make a proper give a proper opinion or give a like pinpoint the genre that it is. The vocals are nice, good vocals, but really doesn't do much for me otherwise.
Gotcha.
The vocals are recorded beautifully, but
Hmm.
there really isn't that much there for me to sort of gnash
Yeah.
my music, get my musical teeth into kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because one of the comments I have here is just the word curious, and I have this ellipsis after it. And I'm reminded that I kept going back to this album, and I was neither like repelled nor was I like fully embracing it. But it was just enough to kind of keep me, listening and kind of satisfied. But you know, not enough to kind of say this is the next greatest thing, nor is it just like completely offensive. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, the only reason, I mean, let me sort of qualify what I said about talking about Prince and Parade. I did say in the
Hmm.
other video that the Parade album for me, and I'm a Prince fan. I am, I really am. But for me, the Parade album was musically schizophrenic in that you had funk, pop, avant pop with the track Under the Cherry Moon. It's almost like the Prince at that point felt he could do anything he wanted musically, and that Warner Brothers
Hmm.
would just put it out, kind of a thing. And it's a little side note. It's got to be noted that Parade and the previous album Around the World in a Day didn't sell as well as Purple Rain.
Hmm.
So I think maybe, he kind of bit off more than he can chew. In that with PVA, with this track, again, it's almost like they don't know what they want to do musically on this song.
Hmm.
And they just sort of mashed it up and said, put it through a musical grinder kind of a thing and just said, here you go. It's like,
Okay.
listen to this kind of a thing. But, I mean, so far it's one out of 12 tracks that I'm not really keen on, but that's a pretty good batting average. Go on.
That
Yes.
is a pretty darn good batting average. Let's move into the last category, which is I just kind of have it in here as modern rock, but it's probably really better better stated as just I don't know what to do with these. Um,
Go
the
on.
first is from a band called Juan. WAAN, as in
Yes.
Nancy. And the album here is called We Want Juan. And I've got two tracks on here that kind of capture what the gist of this album is all about. Mirrors and Lodge, Texas. And to me, this is a band that has got like one foot in the Daptone Records aesthetic, which is was made popular in the early parts of the 2000s and the 2010s. Their whole vibe was, if it don't sound shitty, it ain't pretty, because they were like old school soul, recording things with vintage tubes. And like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings was the breakout band um, from from that label. And then, Sugarman 3 and a lot of other bands sort of came from that. The Doctaris, and on and on you go. So it's got kind of that old school soul Afro funk kind of feel, but it also has one foot firmly planted in like the Gray Boy All Stars and some of the modern kind of it's not true. I can't even remember what the name of that genre is anymore. Acid jazz, that's it. So it's kind of this nice mix between acid jazz and old school soul that Daptone Records epitomizes. Um, these two tracks are instrumental, and but in checking out the album, there are some vocals in there, but it's not like full on songs. There's like vocalizing that
Yeah.
happens with things, or little bits of, you know, spoken word, but not like full on lyrics, like you'd want to sing along with it.
Yeah.
Um, but again, just totally random. I'll try this and see if I liked it. And I really like it. It's really a lot of fun. Um, so if you like that, those two subgenres there of like acid jazz and the Daptone vibe, I
Hmm.
think you might like this. What did you think of these two tracks, Armando?
Well, out of the two between Lodge, Texas and Mirrors, Lodge, Texas stood out to me.
Hmm.
In my notes, I have your ass shaking rhythm and nice sax. I mean, this is pretty much a dance track.
Yeah.
Very, get your head bopping, your foot tapping,
Hmm.
your ass shaking, and
Yes.
um, and for mirrors, I put just nice horns on the
Hmm.
piece. But yeah, I like what I hear. I mean, I would listen to it again. I go back and listen to it.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
it it just to me, the track Launch Texas is to me it's really feel good music. Just get you moving, you know.
Hmm. Okay.
Forget your troubles for a few minutes and shake your ass, have a good time.
Shake your
So
ass. Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Let's do that. Okay. Last one on the list. And this is track 6 on the playlist from the latest album from Big Big Train. The album is called Woodcut. And the song that I selected is called Counting Stars. Um, so let's talk about just this tune as it is. From an arrangement standpoint, this sounds like it could have been plucked right out of the Wind and Wuthering sessions from, Genesis in 1976. Um,
Possible.
and it just in terms of the prevalence of the acoustic guitar. It might be a 12 string. Um, and just how it shimmers on there. It's, has reminds me a lot of Blood on the Rooftops, and some of the other songs that sort of come from that era of Genesis. And given that Big Big Train is generally a prog type of band, that sounds fine. So that's from an arrangement standpoint. The weird thing about this song melodically is that it kind of reminded me, and I don't know if it was the chord progressions that's used, but it kind of reminded me of Lost in Love by Air Supply. Clearly, the song does not get into that era of schmaltz in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just saying, from the chords that were used, I'm just found
Sure.
my head going that direction.
Okay.
But in general, I don't know what to do with Big Big Train. I want to like them. It's in my wheelhouse of, things that are, kind of progressive, but not overly so. Um, and I don't know what it is about it, but I just don't connect with it. Maybe Big Big Train is just too British, which is what people say about the Kinks and the Jam. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's the tempo, the melody, the dynamics, the arrangement. I have yet to find my hook into Big Big Train. No matter, I think I've probably tried like 5 or 6 albums now, and I get the quality of it. I get why I should like it, but I don't. I don't hate it. It's just kind of like lukewarm water to me. It's like, why would I want to do anything with that?
I know what you mean. I understand where you're coming from. Sorry. In hearing the track, I mean, I know a big train, progressive rock band, and when I hear the track in my notes, I have here nice overlapping acoustic guitars and nice use of mellotron.
Yeah.
Near the end, like the mellotron
Hmm.
swells. I was going to say swears, swells, that you hear at the end of the track. Which to me, and I would agree with you. Has it made me want to go back and listen to it again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. But I understand. I mean, some people just, for some bands, that it just doesn't appeal to them. The music doesn't appeal to them.
Hmm.
And there's no right or wrong answer as to why. It's just, it is what it is. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's the vocals for me.
Okay.
A bit train that kind of throw me off
And they have
slightly.
a new vocalist now, right? Because
Yeah,
they're the main lead singer for, I don't know if it was the entirety of their career, died a couple of years ago, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'll give you an example. For me, the only other that's close to me in terms of comparison, in terms of not really listening to a band and not really getting that, were Marillion,
Ah, okay.
Steve Hogarth. There are those that say, okay, Fish, lead singer, will always be the lead singer for Marillion. It is what it is. If you're a Steve Hogarth fan, you're screwed. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about, kind of a thing. And the name of the album, and I have it, of Marillion, the latest one that came out a couple of years ago, a few years ago, 3 years ago. The very last song on the album has a lyric: "The angels in this world are not in the walls of churches."
Hmm.
And I'm listening to the album, I'm putting around doing my own thing. That lyric stopped me dead in my tracks. I turned, I'm like, what the hell did I just hear?
Yeah, right.
And tears were running down my face
Hmm.
in listening to this because it was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now. And but yeah, there are, rein it in, but there are some bands that you just don't connect with right away. And some
Hmm.
bands you may never connect with. So you are forgiven for not really liking Big Train at this point in time. Okay. Yes. Okay.
I've tried. Lord knows I've tried, but
Yes. Yes, I
yeah,
know.
just can't get there.
It doesn't.
But I will say that it is in the wheelhouse of all the other Big Train songs I've listened to over the last, decade and a half. So I
Yeah.
would imagine if you like Big Train, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
Um, it was hard to find a good tune that didn't like segue into something else, and even this one has sort of this dead stop, even though the electric guitar is clearly going to go somewhere else, but it just went into the next song. So,
Yeah.
the playlist structurist in me apologizes to everyone.
Yeah, that's and that's what I heard.
Sorry.
Okay, because it was jarring. It went from one to the other. It's like, okay, there's something wrong with the file, and is it corrupted or
Yeah.
not?
No, no,
But
no.
I get that. I get
Something
that.
something in the programmer is corrupted. How about that?
I get that. Well, no comment. But I get that. I get that 100%. You know,
Okay.
yeah. So it was quite the list that you gave me to listen to. Um, so have we covered everything?
We have. I'll just put out there that at some point, um, Armando and I were talking about this before we started to roll film. But we need to talk about Angine de Poitrine, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, Holy crap.
Okay. All right. Okay. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do an episode on Eugene de Quatrine at some point. And yeah, no, the list you gave me was an interesting list. There's some alt rock or alt pop, trip hop, you know, dance. Uh, you know, you go from contemplation to ass shaking. So I mean,
There you go.
it runs the gamut of emotions. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now hear this, Volume Three, a list of 12 tracks that we're gonna put the link in the description below so you can check this out on the Spotify playlist. And please let us know what you think of these tracks and the bands overall. And yeah, and we're gonna put this up on X, so you can check this out also on X. And yeah, we're going to be doing more shows. We got more ideas that we're going to work on and we're going to do together. And also, I'm going to be plugging the hell out of this. Bill Schuster and I are going to be doing an episode on country rock called Outlaws and Heroes, where we're going to be talking about Bill's favorite country rock albums. And we're going to be doing another episode called Second Time Around, where we're going to be talking about our favorite sophomore releases. And Bill and I are doing that as well. And we're going to be also covering a list that Jim and Ken gave us to discuss about their favorite sophomore releases. And we've got more ideas that we're working on. We're going to bring them to you as soon as we possibly can. All right, so please look after yourselves and one another. Click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content got coming up. And follow us on X. And we will be back with more episodes. I'm Armando Venditti for Jim Breaker signing off. Look after yourselves again and one another, and we'll see you soon on the Music Den. Bye for now.